homesteader. The organic homesteader.
The organic homesteader.
The organic homesteader.
The organic homesteader.
The organic home.
I'm Joel, thanks for watching the Organic Homesteader channel. Today I wanted to show you my rabbitry. Well, I guess it's just a hutch for now, but I've got some other things going on here in my side yard that are going to lend to raising rabbits in here, and eventually I like to use the rabbits as meat for food. So my intention is to have the one rabbit back here at first, free range. I let her roam around during the day, get her fill of all the things that she can find that is growing back here, and so that way it'll cut down on my costs of feeding, make her a little happier, and hopefully have bigger litters when she does have kids. I'm not going to keep a male here. She's a female that I have right now. I'm going to bring her to my friend's house who has Californians. She's a Flemish giant, and we're going to breed them there and bring her back here and do the kindling here. So that's my intentions for my rabbitry. I'd like to breed her about 3-4 times a year or so, and that'll put definitely enough rabbit meat in my freezer and possibly give a few away. So let's see, I started with one hutch here in my backyard, or my side yard. I built this myself. I'm going to go over it a little more thoroughly in a few minutes, but I did get the plans for it off of eBay. It cost me about $10 or so, and I took those plans and tweaked them quite a bit, and to my own liking, but I did use that as a base. I wouldn't advise doing that. The plans were really vague, and I paid about $15 for them or so. The hutch itself probably cost me about $100 or so to build, and I really didn't skimp with anything as far as the redwood and the hinges and the latches and things like that, so I could have definitely gone a little bit cheaper. It's pretty well weatherized. I could have gone with the full shingles on top of the roof, but I only went with just some exterior paint. We don't get a lot of rain around here on the central coast of California. I decided to have the top of the roof hinged just to make it a little bit easier for when she is having litters to get in there and stuff. I've got the feeder built in there, the water on the side here. It's a double level, as you can see. So you can come up and down that little ramp right there. Since she is a Flemish giant, I imagine she is going to get pretty humongous, so I might have to tweak it a little bit more as she grows bigger. She's only about 2.5 months right now, so she's not having any problems getting up and down or from one section or the other. So now I'm going to kind of give you a tour around what I've got back here in the hutch a little bit better. So here's a close-up of the hutch. As you can see, it's got 3 doors, one on the top left there, one on the top right, and one on the bottom here. The left is good for getting into where her food and water is. The right door is good for getting into where she sleeps, where I put the hay that she beds on at night. And the bottom door I typically have open during the day, so she can come in or out and kind of free range around back here. And the plans didn't call for it, but I did put some solid sides on the hutch. It does get a little windy around here, so it makes it a little more weatherized. I also put handles on both sides so that my wife and I can take this and easily move it by ourselves. And if it wasn't for the handles, it would be a little more cumbersome, and we might not be able to do it with just the 2 of us. I chose to put the water on the side into the plywood here. When I put it on the front with the screen, it kind of tugged on the screen a little too much, and my workmanship isn't the best, so I didn't want it to tug the screen out. So let me open these doors here. We can check out inside. So here's the inside of where the food and water is. I've got the feed trough there fixed on the back. Just a couple of eye bolts with a couple of carabiners, and it's got the pellets in the bottom, the hay in the top, little hay loft there, and here's the water. This one is from Petco, and it pretty much stinks. It leaks a bunch, so I'm gonna have to get another one of those pretty soon. Here's the minerals and salt pucks for her. She usually has a bunch of alfalfa hay over here. I'm gonna switch her to Timothy here pretty soon, but I heard when they're young that they need alfalfa just to kind of grow quickly on. So she does have a bunch of alfalfa available all day. This is her bedding side. Now typically this has got a bunch of forage hay on the bottom that just kind of keeps the urine and the manure down a little bit, so I can just tug it out a little easier. I'll clean it out in the morning, and by the end of the day it'll dry out in here. It does look pretty gnarly. Yep, their urine does look pretty nasty when it gets on wood, but it does not smell bad at all, and it does drain pretty quickly and dry pretty quickly for her. I've got this this little kind of cheesy partition in the middle here, just again to kind of cut down on the wind that comes in here. Here's the bottom level. Open this door, and there's the ramp that goes up to the top of the hutch. The bottom level is full of hay on the bottom, again, that forage hay. She's only really in her hutch at night. I close it up around 8:30 or so, and then when I'm on my way to work around 7 a.m., I open up the door so she can come out. So under this is cement. So instead of having just bare cement, I put some hay down at the bottom here for when she is down there once in a while, roaming around. So there's the hutch. The top does lift up. Again, it makes it pretty easy for me to get in the top if I need to, or definitely when I'll need to when she starts having litters. So it is pretty handy. Here's the other side. Again, with the handles, solid side, makes it a little bit easier to pick up and move around. And there she is right there. That's Sophie. She's going to be the mom. We intend on just basically keeping her for as long as she'll produce litters. And she's showing you the her trickery with the ladder. We plan on keeping her around as long as we can, and as long as she's producing litters. And like I said, taking her elsewhere to stud her out there, or to get a stud of a Californian. She's curious. She's really nice. We've got her. To surprise her there, she'll come up to us when we're out and about here in the Rabbitry. She's really nice, good with kids. They are the docile giants, and that's pretty much why we got her. Just because she's half a family pet, half a meat producer. So here's the yard I got back here. This used to be all kind of sandy, gross dirt back here. A couple things growing. But I've kind of rejuvenated the soil, rejuvenated the plants that are back here, and hopefully we'll have it going again and nice and lush back here pretty soon. So I've got some clover planted here, and these are some patches. They weren't spread out. The seed wasn't dispersed very well back here. But I've got some clover planted back here. I amended the soil, put a bunch of more organic matter in here, put a bunch of worm castings back here, mixed into the soil. That way it's retaining some water a little bit better than before when it was just pretty much sand back here. So there's an apple tree, 2 apple trees actually. I pruned those up. They're looking beautiful right now. Those are going to produce some great apples this year, I think. I put a little reservoir down bottom with some mulch. Mulch will save you tons of water, tons of watering time, and tons of water in cost. So you mulch. I mulch everything I can get to when it comes to soil. A couple of artichokes back here that I recovered that were looking pretty gnarly, and I think they'll actually produce now this year. There's 3 of them. They're getting pretty big. They're about knee high right now. Those will be good. Sophie, our rabbit, doesn't chew on them at all, so they're pretty safe from her. And here, you probably notice it, is the rabbit hovel. Now all this is 3 pieces of 2 by 1 foot. I'd say about 2 feet long or so, to form a ceiling and 2 sides. No bottom, no back. And I kind of buried it into the ground here to make a hobbit hovel or a bunny hovel. And she does go in there a bunch. It's nice and cool. It's away from the sun, the predators, I guess. And she goes in there, she'll dig in the back. You kind of probably can't see with my crummy camera here. She'll go down in the back of there and dig around and, kind of tunnel in there. And that's our intention, is for her to go in there and hang out. So this is one side. Let's see, this clover is about 2 weeks along now, and it is growing quite quickly. Here on the other side, switch the other side here, this clover is about a week more mature, so it's about 3 weeks along. And it is, I'd say, about 2 weeks away from being full-grown clover, which will be really nice. She can come back here and eat this clover all day long. The good thing about rabbits, as opposed to horses or goats, is that when they eat a forage like clover or grass, they don't pull it up from the roots. So it's sustainable. She can keep coming back here and eating the clover and over again, and it will keep growing back. And she won't be ripping it up by the roots and ruining it. So that's my intention with this clover back here, is to kind of cut down on the feeding costs and give her something to do all day, basically. And so here's this clover patch back here. Nice lemon tree back here also. Got a lemon tree. Got an orange tree. I got a little mandarin tree back here, and I just pruned the crud out of both of them. They hadn't been maintained in quite a long time, so I had to do some major pruning. Well, so that's it for right now. This is my rabbitry. In the future, I'll be showing you my chickens, my worm bin, and of course my garden. Thanks for watching.